So the next thing that we want to talk about functions is the lambda function. Lambda function is a kind of an anonymous function which we do not actually declare it with the traditional way of defining functions, which is def. Instead, we write lambda and we put in column, and before the column we write, for example, we can write a, and then in front of it we can write a plus 10 or a multiplied by 9 or divided by 2. So and we can put it into another variable, so we can declare it as x, and then this is a very short function. So if I want to run this function, I can write x, and inside the parentheses I can write 5. And as simple as that, I'm going to call this function, which is lambda. And this is a very short form of writing function. And here, let's see what is the problem with writing x. Okay, no problem. We had the indentation error with this one, which I solved this by fixing it. Now here, if I run 5, you will see that you also need to print it out. So after printing out the result, you will see that the result is 2.5, which is the result of division of 5 by 2. So the reason we use this one is to use anonymous functions and also use it for a function inside another function. So for example, I'm going to define a new function, def, and here you can call this first function, and then it can get a variable called k. Then we will use lambda again, copy and paste it. So here, for example, I can multiply it by 2. And here I can define, but x here is another variable, so let's call it k and multiply it by k. So a multiplied by k, and here outside of a function we can write different kinds of functions. Here, as you can see, we have 2 variables, so we need 2 inputs. As you can see in this function, we've only got k and not a here. So I'm going to show you how we can use 2 different functions, and using them we can get the result that we want. So here you should also write print x, or probably we can print it outside of a function, it's better. Okay, so here, for example, we can call the doubler equals, and here, because a function gets the value of, because it's going to double the number, the k needs to get 2, the value 2, and then we write doubler, and here the doubler is a kind of function that we've defined using this function and using lambda. So here it should also get any number that we want to assign to a, so it could be 5. You also need to return x as well, so that it will return this to this doubler here, and then it will return the number 5. So 5 is going to get inside the doubler, and the doubler is going to assign it to a, Also, the first function is going to get it and assign it to k. So 2 here will be k, and k is here. And we've got another variable that we need to assign a number to it, and we can use it by giving it to 5, giving the 5 to doubler. So let's save this one, and also we need to print the doubler to see what is the outcome. As you can see, we've got 10, and yes, we've got 10, and so 5 here is A and 2 is K. We can define another function which we can call it tripler, and tripler can use the first function but create another function, right? Okay, so it can use the tree. So we've got another function called tripler. So as simple as that, we've defined different functions using this main function which has lambda in it. This is one of the main use cases of using lambda, but there could be so many different use cases. Using this one, we can create a ton of other functions just in a single line. This is a kind of a factory of other functions, and that is why it's a very key and useful kind of using functions. Well, anyway, you might say that, for example, we can input a and k inside the same function and call it, and this is totally true. But this is another kind of structure of using the functions. And here, because we have a very simple example, you may not understand it, but for the more complex functions, this is going to be very handy and useful and makes everything much more simpler. So let's input 5 and it will multiply it by 3. So let's run it, and the result is 15, as you can see.